Okay, so if you haven't already, you can go ahead and check out the team's videos from the front and from the side and just listen to the intros and see the big leaguers. So that way you can understand some of the positions we're going to talk about here. All right, so if you haven't done that already, go do that first, then come back to this video. Okay. At front foot strike, we can see on one pitch, heels first, heels first, heels first. On this one, we can see it's toe first and toe first. So I actually have not seen something like this in a very long time. It's something I don't see very often at all. And that's someone that on one pitch will land on the heel, and the next time they'll land on their toes in such drastic positions of difference. But that's not really what I want to concern ourselves with. That's not the most important thing. The most important thing is our arm path, and that's how the arm is moving from the out of the glove. And we can see as the ball comes out of the glove how it instantly, very quickly gets turned. When I mean turned, it's in your glove in this position where we can see the ball and we cannot see your hand while it's in here. Right now, the baseball, if your glove was not there, the baseball would be facing us, and the top of your hand would be facing first base. Which means if the hand just fell out of the glove straight down from this position, the opposite would be true. The top of your hand would be facing us, and the baseball would be facing first. But we see as your ball falls out of your glove, you turn your hand. So now the top of your hand is facing second, and the ball is facing home. When our wrist gets into this type of position, it changes our arm posture, which is going to now start to affect our shoulder. And when that happens, we can see now how this arm gets up early, and now the ball is facing home, or rather second base. We never want the baseball to really be ever facing second base, especially this late in the delivery process, where now your heel is starting to hit the ground and the ball is facing second base. That means as our shoulders rotate, they won't be able to rotate cleanly with this arm to whip through because this wrist is not in the appropriate position right now. It's 90 degrees rotated behind. Behind meaning this way, where it needs to be is facing us. So now the wrist is going to have to rotate. The wrist is going to have to rotate to get into that position where it needs to be here. And now because it started to rotate, it will not want to stop rotating. And now we're going to be a guy that's probably cutting off a lot of our pitches, a lot of our throws. We're going to be cutting it off because we're going to be getting on the outside of the baseball. Why are we getting on the outside of the baseball? Because our wrist is going to be looping around the baseball this entire time that we're throwing. That there's probably a great chance that we could see finger, 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 finger on the very outside of the baseball. Here, this delivery, that's not necessarily the case with where the hand is at release, but again, we saw on this one how just drastically different of a delivery it was because of toe hitting first versus heel hitting first. But we can see that even on this delivery, where the ball is facing at this point in time, when the foot does get first contact with the ground, ball is facing second base. When the foot gets first contact with the ground, ball is facing second base. This is a very stressful position for your elbow to get put into while we're throwing, not just pitching, but just throwing in general. Okay, so if we just pulled up some videos here of really just anyone, we won't even think about who we're picking, we'll just go through them and just watch how the ball is going to fall out. Top of the hand to third, ball to first. Next guy. Ball falls out of the glove. And it's not the clearest, so you can't really see, so let's get a better one. Ball is going to fall out of the glove. It's kind of blurry. You can't see it there either. Let's get a better one. Ball is going to fall out of the glove. Look at that. Where's the ball facing? First, top of the hand, third. Doesn't start far enough back. Are we going to have enough angle to see? Yes, we are. Ball falls out of the glove. Top of the hand to third, ball to first. Ball is going to fall out of the glove. Top of the hand to third, ball to first. All right, so we can see with all those examples versus, boom, this position here. Compared to that, and that, and that. So that way, as the arm continues to go back, that same position stays. Top of the hand to third. Kind of hard to see, but he's trying to fight to keep that top of the hand to third as it's coming back. Fighting to keep top of the hand to third as it's coming back. Keeping top of the hand to third as it's coming back. So that way the ball doesn't go straight up, 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 up and get us into elbow or hand above elbow so early. The hand does not go above the elbow until it's time to throw the baseball. So right now the hand's getting above the elbow. Now the foot gets in the ground. Now we rotate to throw. Hand is below the elbow. Now the hand's above the elbow. Foot is in the ground. Time to throw. Hand is below the elbow. Hand is above the elbow. Foot's in the ground. Time to throw. Hands below the elbow. Now it's above the elbow. Foot's also in the ground. Time to throw. So we just see how quickly your hand gets above the elbow, and yet it's not time to throw, not time to throw, not time to throw, not time to throw. Now it's time to throw. Because it's not time to rotate the upper body until the front foot strike occurs. So that means we don't want that hand to start getting above the elbow until right before that foot hits the ground. We can just see it gets up early. Why is it getting up early? Because of the wrist position. All right, we need to think, let that ball fall out of our glove. All right, even if we're not looking at pictures, let's see. All right, found it. So we just look at like Lindor playing catch. And you see that path of that wrist. So that way when the hand gets above the elbow, it's to throw. So that versus getting to that type of position so early. We can also look at, oops, hold on. Yeah, but not right now. Watch this through here. This is from the Futures game this year.
I don't remember.
All right, so that was 100 miles an hour across the infield throw right there. And if we just watch this, Boom. We're not looking to get anything else out of it. That's as efficient as we need it to be, and we need to get it to that point in time right before we throw, right there. And we can see that hand's not getting above that elbow until it's time to throw. All right, every angle that you're going to see, ball's just being pulled out with infielders, but it's not being pulled up. So when the hand does get above the elbow, it's because we're throwing. And that's how we create whip in the arm. Boom. Whippy arm. Because when it's and the hand's above the elbow, it's because we're about to rotate those shoulders to throw. Whether we're an infielder and we're just pulling the ball straight back like that, or we're a pitcher and we're letting it fall down and then roll up like that. Everything needs to get to this type of position before we flip it up. Whether the head's tilted over and the body's tilted over because we're a position player, or we are a pitcher. It's blurry at that point in time. Boom. You straighten Machado up. He's looking very much like Ohtani right now. Right? So you can just see how drastically different your arm path is because of your wrist position. And that just adds a lot of stress to the arm because now it doesn't whip. There's no real whip to it. It just kind of drags along. It just kind of drags along instead of it whipping. Obviously, this is down with a lower slot because, again, infielders. But there's all whip in the arm. This would probably be more over the top. And it'll just see whip. Boom. Down to flip up right at foot strike to whip back. So we're whipping to throw instead of it being already up and now we're just dragging it through and pushing it out. Okay, we're trying to just pull it out, get that scap involved, and not have the ball be the reason that the hand is going up. We don't want the hand to be the reason we're going up, and we definitely cannot and do not want the hand to be facing back to second base. Once that happens, we're going to have tremendous amounts of force get put on our elbow because our hand is having to turn and catch up with where our oh man, I forget the name of this bone here, but from our elbow to our shoulder, this bone is always going to be going from this position here with where your chest is the same position here. But we notice that the wrist does not agree with this alignment. Wrist is this way towards second. From elbow to shoulder is to third. And then when we throw, now shoulder to elbow is in the same alignment finally as the wrist, which means the wrist has had to be rotating this entire time to catch up. And once it starts to rotate, it's going to be hard not to let it continue to rotate and get really trapped on the side of the baseball here instead of staying behind the baseball and through the baseball. So arm path drills, big time, are of pretty big urgency for you, especially as over the next 2 years, the field is only going to get bigger, the game's only going to get faster, things are only going to get more aggressive. And if our arm path is coming out of the glove in this type of manner, and our wrist wants to be doing stuff like this, we're setting ourselves up to be a guy that's going to deal with some arm issues later down the road.